Now, rats and mice. Look, when I was mulling over other aspects of the orders that we've seen over the last sort of 12 months, I have to say there's been like a general improvement. Some of the sort of the types of questions that we're asking previously, or the request for additional information, have actually, a lot of those sort of things we were doing a couple of years ago have gone away, which is great. We're generally getting all bank statements. Or for clients with Class, we're generally getting those general ledger audit reports, which is good. Again, I do apologise to all those clients. We have to go back to and say, hey, look, you've given us all the bank statements 28 June. Because of 30th June fell on a weekend, all the banks decided not to do bring the statements forward. Again, because we live in this world where the ATO are extremely tough on auditors, we couldn't not have those statements. So, that's more of an insight into that strictness I was talking about before. But generally, bank accounts are pretty good. Term deposits have been too bad. One thing we have noticed, and again, this slows things down. There'll be a term deposit or a new term deposit sort of started in during the financial year, and when we come to the audit, we'll notice it's matured. And look, we're supposed to be auditing these things at 30 June, and we need to have some sort of confirmation that this term deposit exists at 30 June. So we'll typically go back and say, look, we need to get the maturity details. Some banks, I think it's National Australia Bank possibly, they will actually provide a 30 June statement. So especially when these term deposits are material, as an accountant, if you can, ask your clients when they bring the stuff in to bring in those post 30 June documents, or even a 30 June statement if they can get their hands on it. Okay, what else? Listed shares are fine. Managed funds have been generally pretty good. I don't think there's much else. Crypto and bullion. So crypto is a tricky one. What I'd suggest is that if there is certain information that a trustee will be able to provide, related to if they're on a one of those wallets and things, they can provide sort of key data that basically will allow us to look it up and confirm that we confirm it exists. And that's we can generally tick the box with that if they can provide that information. So if they have crypto, please ask that. If you're not sure what exactly it is, you need to ask. Just reach out to us. If they can't provide that, what ends up happening is that it ends up in a qualification. Like crypto by its very nature is designed to be kind of almost hidden and opaque. And so if we can't look it up, if it's material, it just ends up in a qualification and a contravention report. And again, it's just the nature of the investment and sort of is what it is. Bullion and other sorts of investments like that. I definitely seen an increase in, I don't know, sort of prepper type behaviour where people are getting gold bullion and storing under their beds or wherever it is. Look, we will need sort of dated photographs, post 30 June dated photographs of that bullion every year. We've had some pushback where clients say, oh, look, I've got it in my safety deposit box. This is a huge imposition. I don't want to do it every year. Look, the rules are the rules. And if you want to have this investment in your self-managed super fund, we need to get that. And so not having it, it can really slow down the audit process. I think that's pretty much it. There is one big one, and this is this is going to getting into the red tape. I did an article on this, and that's the ATO trustee declaration. It's this sort of innocuous statement, and everyone sort of trustees will sign it. It gets stored somewhere, and then sort of gets forgotten. The ATO sort of changed their. The previous industry practice was that once 10 years had elapsed, it was not really an issue, and so when funds sort of changed hands between accountants, if 10 years had elapsed, generally we weren't asking for it. The ATO have clarified their position on that, and they've said no. If you became a trustee after 30 June 2007, I believe, you need to have an ATO, one of these signed and witnessed trustee declarations, even if 10 years have elapsed. And look, I mean, we read the legislation and the actual declaration itself, and they're sort of within their rights to do that. And so we have all these clients that haven't got them, and that, and so we'll need to ask for that, or ideally you'll be able to provide that. So yeah, just be mindful about that. What else? I think that's pretty much it. Look, I guess just one of the other sort of minor sort of things is the investment strategies. We're still seeing investment strategies done with very strict asset ranges. And that's fine. You can totally do it. But just alert your trustee clients that if they do that and they go outside of those ranges, it's a breach. You've created this. You've got this big bat that you've created yourself. You've handed over the ATO to beat you up with. And I would encourage trustees to have some allowance and investment strategy for short-term variations of that, or if they are making a bigger shift, to update the investment strategy, because it just, we see this happen. Not a lot these days. It used to happen a lot more previously. But yeah, we used to cringe because it's, unfortunately, have to whack you over the head on something you yourself have done. So yeah, look, that's it.